The Leviathan, a name whispered in fear, a creature shrouded in mystery. From the depths of ancient texts it rises, a terrifying testament to the power of the unknown, a force of nature. But what if the Leviathan is more than just a myth? What if its power lies not just in the depths of the ocean but within ourselves? This is the question we dare to ask. We will journey into the heart of ancient scriptures. We will explore the legends and lore. We will unmask the Leviathan. The Book of Job, a tale of suffering, of faith tested. It is here we find one of the most chilling descriptions of the Leviathan. Job, a man righteous and devout, is subjected to unimaginable trials, stripped of his wealth, his family, his health. In his despair, he questions God, demands answers. It is then that God responds. He speaks of the Leviathan. The Leviathan becomes a symbol of God's power. The Bible paints a vivid picture of the Leviathan's appearance, terrifying and awe-inspiring in equal measure. Its scales are described in detail. Its rows of scales are joined together. They are firm as a seal. One is so near to another that no air can come between them. Job 41:13-14. These scales are more than mere protection. They are impenetrable armor. The Leviathan, with its impenetrable hide, becomes an embodiment of strength. Section 3. A primal force, chaos embodied. The Leviathan is not merely a creature of the deep, it is a force of nature, a symbol of chaos and primal power. The Bible describes its movements as earth-shattering, its presence a disruption of the natural order. When it rises up, the mighty are terrified. They retreat before its thrashing. Job 41:25. This is not simply a large animal, it is chaos personified, a reminder of the untamed forces that exist in the universe. A force that reminds humanity of its place within the grand scheme of the cosmos. Section 4. The breath of the Leviathan, fire and fury. Perhaps the most terrifying aspect of the Leviathan is its breath. The Bible describes it as a fearsome weapon, a force of destruction. Its snorting throws out flashes of light. Its eyes are like the rays of dawn. From its mouth go burning torches, sparks of fire shoot out. Job 41:18-19. This breath of fire is more than just a physical attribute. It represents the Leviathan's capacity for destruction, its ability to annihilate anything in its path. The imagery is stark, it evokes a sense of dread and awe. Section 1. The Leviathan's grip, chaos, and the unknowable. The Leviathan in all its monstrous glory is more than just a terrifying sea creature. It is a symbol, a powerful representation of the chaotic forces that exist in the universe. In ancient Hebrew culture, chaos wasn't simply disorder, it represented the untamed, the unpredictable, the forces that could overwhelm and destroy in an instant. The Leviathan, in its very essence, embodies this concept. It dwells in the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean, a place beyond human understanding and control. Its immense size and power speak to the overwhelming nature of these forces. Section 2. A prideful heart, arrogance, and the fall. The Leviathan, with its immense power and terrifying presence, also serves as a potent symbol of pride and arrogance. It is a creature that knows no equal, a being of immense physical strength and ferocity. This in itself becomes a cautionary tale against unchecked pride. The Bible is replete with stories of the prideful being brought low, of those who dared to challenge the divine order facing catastrophic consequences. The Leviathan in many ways embodies the result of such hubris. It represents the dangers of believing oneself to be above others. Section 3. The serpent's coil, manipulation, and the thirst for power. The Leviathan, with its serpentine form and predatory nature, often takes on a more insidious symbolism, that of manipulation and the insatiable thirst for power. This interpretation draws upon the imagery of serpents in many cultures, often associated with cunning, deception, and the willingness to exploit others for personal gain. The Leviathan in this context represents individuals who use their power not for good but for personal gain, who are willing to manipulate and exploit others to achieve their goals. They are the puppet masters, lurking in the shadows, pulling strings and influencing events to serve their own selfish desires. This symbolism finds resonance in the real world, where individuals in positions of power often resort to manipulation and deceit to maintain their control. Section 4. Confronting the Shadow, Recognizing the Leviathan Within. The most unsettling interpretation of the Leviathan, however, lies not in its external monstrousness, but in its potential to represent the darkness that resides within us all. The Leviathan in this context becomes a mirror reflecting our own capacity for pride, greed, and ruthlessness. Each of the Leviathan's terrifying attributes, its insatiable hunger, its relentless pursuit of prey, its capacity for destruction, can be seen as metaphors for the darker aspects of human nature. The monster within, waiting for the opportunity to surface. It is a reminder that we all possess the potential for evil, that the line between good and evil is often blurred, and that succumbing to these darker impulses can have devastating consequences. The Leviathan, a creature of myth and legend, a terrifying behemoth of the deep. But what if the Leviathan is more than just a monster of the sea? What if its true power lies not in the depths of the ocean but within ourselves? The Leviathan in its most unsettling form is not a creature of flesh and scales, but a reflection of the darkness that resides within the human heart. The Bible, in its ancient wisdom, uses the Leviathan as a symbol, a representation of the untamed forces of chaos and destruction, but it also serves as a chilling reminder of the potential for evil that exists within us all. The Leviathan's shadow falls upon us all. We each carry within us the seeds of pride, greed, and ruthlessness. The potential for monstrous acts lies dormant, waiting for the opportunity to surface. Pride, the sin of angels, the downfall of empires. It is a potent force, seductive in its allure, whispering promises of power and glory. The Leviathan in its human form embodies this sin in its most insidious aspects. It is the insatiable hunger for adoration, the unshakable belief in one's own superiority, the utter disregard for the needs and feelings of others. The Leviathan in its arrogance sees itself as above the law, above reproach. Rules are for the weak, for those who lack the vision, the sheer audacity to seize what they believe is rightfully theirs. They crave admiration, demanding constant validation, their egos inflated to monstrous proportions. The Leviathan in human form surrounds itself with sycophants, those who will feed their insatiable need for praise. The Leviathan, with its serpentine form and cunning nature, is a master of manipulation. It is a creature of deception, weaving intricate webs of lies and half-truths to ensnare its prey. The Leviathan in human form possesses this same insidious skill, using words as weapons, charm as a tool of manipulation. They are experts at reading people, identifying weaknesses and exploiting them with ruthless efficiency. They know how to play on emotions, to evoke sympathy, to feign vulnerability to gain trust. They are masters of the double cross, presenting one face to the world while harboring ulterior motives beneath the surface. The Leviathan in human form is a skilled liar, spinning elaborate tales to justify their actions, to shift blame, to maintain their facade of control. Section 4. The Wake of Destruction, the Cost of Unchecked Ambition. The Leviathan, in its insatiable hunger for power, leaves a trail of destruction in its wake. Its passage is marked by broken promises, shattered relationships, and the shattered lives of those unfortunate enough to have crossed its path. The Leviathan in human form is driven by an ambition that knows no bounds. They are willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to achieve their goals, leaving a trail of collateral damage in their wake. Families are torn apart, friendships shattered, careers ruined, all casualties in the Leviathan's relentless pursuit of power. Those who dare to oppose the Leviathan's ambitions quickly find themselves targeted. Section 5. Taming the Beast, confronting the Leviathan in ourselves and others. The Leviathan, in all its monstrous forms, serves as a chilling reminder of the potential for darkness that exists within us all, but it also offers a glimmer of hope. For in recognizing the Leviathan, in confronting the beast within ourselves and others, we have the opportunity to break free from its grasp. Taming the Leviathan begins with self-awareness. We must be willing to look inward, to confront the shadows within our own hearts. Are we harboring feelings of envy, resentment, or a thirst for power that outweighs our compassion for others? Honest self-reflection is the first step towards breaking free from the Leviathan's grip. We must also learn to recognize the signs of the Leviathan in others, the manipulative behaviors, the insatiable need for attention, the disregard for the feelings of others. Once we learn to identify these traits, we can begin to protect ourselves from their influence. Section 1. The Mask of Humanity. Identifying the Leviathan in disguise. The Leviathan in its human form is a master of disguise. It moves among us undetected, its true nature concealed beneath a veneer of normalcy. They blend in, mimicking human emotions, feigning empathy and concern, all the while harboring a heart of darkness. But beneath the mask, there are cracks, subtle tells that betray the Leviathan's true nature. Recognizing these signs is crucial to protecting ourselves from their insidious influence. One of the most telling signs is a profound lack of empathy. The Leviathan is incapable of genuine compassion. They may feign sympathy, but their concern is always superficial, a means to an end. They are quick to dismiss the feelings of others, their own needs and desires always taking precedence. They view people as pawns in their game, tools to be used and discarded at will. The Leviathan in human form is also characterized by an insatiable hunger for control. They need to dominate every situation, to bend others to their will. They thrive on power, and they will use any means necessary to acquire and maintain it. Section 2. The Games They Play, unveiling the Leviathan's tactics. The Leviathan in its human form is a master manipulator. It employs tactics to control and exploit, weaving webs of deception. Gaslighting is common, distorting reality to plant doubt. They twist facts, leaving victims confused. Triangulation involves using a third party to create chaos. They play the victim to elicit sympathy and maintain power. Masters of emotional manipulation. They exploit insecurities. The devastating impact of the Leviathan. The Leviathan leaves a trail of destruction. Victims emerge emotionally scarred, their sense of self shattered. The Leviathan's need for control creates fear and uncertainty. Those around them walk on eggshells. This tension leads to anxiety and depression. The Leviathan erodes trust, leaving victims questioning themselves. They may isolate victims from friends and family. The longer the influence, the more insidious the damage. Victims may lose their identity and self-worth. They may believe they are unworthy of love or respect. Recognizing the Leviathan's influence is the first step to breaking free. Remember, you are not to blame for the Leviathan's behavior. They are responsible for their own actions. You deserve respect and dignity. Section 1. The Art of Self-Preservation. Navigating the Leviathan's waters. Encountering a Leviathan in human form can be a deeply unsettling experience. Their manipulations, their insatiable hunger for power, and their utter lack of empathy can leave you feeling drained, demoralized, and questioning your own sanity. But there are ways to navigate these treacherous waters, to protect yourself from the Leviathan's toxic influence. The first and perhaps most crucial step is recognizing the Leviathan for what it is. Don't underestimate the danger they pose. Their charm is a weapon, their charisma a tool of manipulation. Once you've identified the Leviathan in your life, the next step is to establish firm boundaries. This is not a time for appeasement or negotiation. The Leviathan doesn't respect weakness, only strength. Be clear about what you will and will not tolerate. Don't be afraid to say no, and be prepared for resistance. The Leviathan will not relinquish control easily. They will test your boundaries, push your buttons, and try to manipulate you back into their web. Dealing with a Leviathan in human form can be an isolating experience. They are masters of isolation, often seeking to separate their victims from friends and family to tighten their grip on power. But you are not alone. Seeking support from others is crucial to surviving the Leviathan's onslaught. Talk to trusted friends, family members, or a therapist. Share your experiences, your fears, your doubts. Having a support system in place will provide you with the emotional strength and validation you need to stand up to the Leviathan's manipulations. Remember, the Leviathan thrives on secrecy and shame. By shining a light on their behavior, by talking about your experiences, you are taking away their power. Don't underestimate the importance of self-care during this time. The Leviathan will drain you emotionally and mentally. Engage in activities that nourish your soul, that bring you joy and peace. Spend time in nature, listen to music, meditate, practice yoga. Whatever helps you reconnect with your inner strength and resilience. It's crucial to understand that you cannot change a Leviathan. You cannot reason with them, appeal to their better nature, or love them into changing their ways. The Leviathan is driven by forces beyond your control, by a deep-seated need for power and domination that will never be satisfied. Trying to change a Leviathan will only lead to frustration, exhaustion, and further emotional damage. Your energy is better spent on protecting yourself and moving on with your life. This may mean distancing yourself from the Leviathan entirely. This can be a difficult and painful decision, especially if the Leviathan is a family member, friend, or colleague. But remember, your well-being is paramount. You deserve to live a life free from manipulation, fear, and abuse. Cutting ties with a Leviathan may require a complete restructuring of your life. You may need to change jobs, move, or end relationships with those who enable the Leviathan's behavior. Healing from the wounds inflicted by a Leviathan takes time, patience, and self-compassion. The road to recovery may be long and arduous, but it is possible to reclaim your life and emerge from the experience stronger and wiser. Focus on rebuilding your self-esteem. The Leviathan's manipulations can leave you feeling worthless and inadequate, but remember, their words are a reflection of their own insecurities, not your worth. Surround yourself with positive influences. Spend time with people who love and support you, people who make you feel good about yourself. Seek professional help if needed. A therapist can provide you with the tools and support you need to process your experience, heal from the emotional trauma, and develop healthy coping mechanisms. Remember, you are not defined by the Leviathan's actions. You are a survivor, you are strong, and you are worthy of love, respect, and happiness. The Leviathan, a creature of the deep, a symbol of chaos and power. Its story reminds us of the darkness within. The Leviathan's lessons are timeless. Unchecked ambition has devastating consequences. The Leviathan's legacy is etched in ruins, in broken relationships and shattered lives, but it also offers hope. Confronting the beast within, we gain power to resist. By cultivating empathy and humility, we can prevail. The battle is within our hearts, fought with conviction and empathy and belief in humanity.